Wednesday. I am so excited to be with you again today for day 2 of the 5 distinctions of a high performer. Isn't that cool? You can see the ring light in the window. And I just think that house across the street from me reminds me of Harry Potter. So I like to see that in the background. So good morning again. I'm Jessica Perez-Beebe. You are here if you're watching live on my Facebook page, Coach My Mindset. And if you're watching as a replay, please let me know in the comments, or if you're watching on YouTube, please drop a comment, subscribe, and share this with a friend who wants to go from being a high achiever to a high performer. There's a difference. A high achiever is somebody who sets goals, is a doer, is always taking action, but typically is overwhelmed, is burnt out, and is not actually really living life at the highest possibility that they could be, right? And I know because I used to be one, and I attract a lot of high achievers, and my goal is to always have you go from just achiever and being busy with a long to-do list and constantly doing, right, to becoming a high performer. And that requires a specific shift in the way that you think first and foremost, and the way that you operate in your day-to-day life. And what's great about becoming a high performer is all of the hard things get easy. They get easy. So it doesn't mean that things are not still hard, but when you can operate like a high performer, when you have these tools and you apply them consistently, you become focused and you get rid of all the old stories about, why you've got to be constantly busy or why your schedule's got to be packed. High performers are not burned out. We are not overscheduled. We are not overworked, okay? We're focused and we're efficient, and I want that for you too. So if you want that, let me know in the comments. I want to see who my aspiring high performers are. And if you're already a high performer, drop one of your tips in the comments below. Okay, so as promised, I'm sharing one of the 5 distinctions here with you every single day. I'm Jessica Perez-Beebe. I am an elite performance coach for high achievers. I've been trained and certified under Tony Robbins, and also I work under Brendon Burchard. So I am really in the thick of it with the highest performers and leaders out there. And I love that because it helps me continue to set the bar high in my life, in my personal life, in my career. And that's how I'm really able to take a big stand for the people that I work with. Okay, so day 2 of 5. This one is huge. Okay, so listen up. High performer distinction number 2, high performers are open to feedback. Okay? In fact, high performers ask for feedback. We seek it. We want to know where we're falling short and how we can do better. Right? High performers are always looking at what's in the gap. Yes, we celebrate our wins. Yes, we acknowledge what our strengths are and we lean into them. But if you are aspiring to grow and get better, and every high performer is motivated by growth. So if you are aspiring to get better, to grow, to become more, to give more, to contribute more, you have got to take time in your life and in your week and in your day where you are actively looking for what's in the gap. Where am I underperforming? What part of maybe my personality or my habits are in the way of me being at my highest capability, right? So that is necessary. It's not always comfortable. In fact, a lot of the times it's not comfortable to get honest feedback, right? But it's necessary if you want to continue to grow, and especially if you want to lead others. Okay, so we want to know where we are falling short and how we can do better. In other words, we take the coaching. We not only take the coaching, but we seek it out, right? So there's a saying, not a saying, but the number one value in my company is personal responsibility. So I stand for personal responsibility. right? And so my team knows that that's our number one value inside of the company, and that each of us are personally responsible for our contribution, our energy, what we do or do not do. And that includes being responsible for taking feedback, constructive criticism, and for actually asking for it. So one of the things that my clients will notice between me and my assistant coach, Emma, who I work very closely with when we're coaching our clients, she calls us the smoking guns. I love that. Is that we're always calling each other forward, right? So I'm an interruption for Emma when she's in her excuses, or when I see that she's playing smaller than she actually is capable of, right? Like she's holding back out of fear or because something's too hard. I am not afraid to call her out on that. And guess what's great about her, because she's a true high performer, is she receives it. Like she just soaks it up. She's not defensive. She's not judgmental. She doesn't take it personal. And she's grateful for it. And then we take that feedback, whatever it is, and if it lands, meaning like, does that feedback resonate? Does it feel like, that is true? And if it does, then we work from there with, okay, what's next, right? And here's the thing, I do the same with her. In fact, I have to actually ask for it more often than others do, because when you are a leader, when you are seen as powerful and somebody who is successful, or somebody who's in control, right? And I'm perceived that way. A lot of times people they won't volunteer the feedback. So it's always important that you lead your life, that you lead your leadership. And that means you're going to have to seek it out. That's why I always am with coaches who are strong enough to call me out. I want to be called out. I want to be interrupted. So I go to Emma and I say, I need some feedback here. What's working, what's not working in my ways of being, or in the way that I'm leading you, right? That's important. It's important in your family. It's important in your relationships. It's definitely important if you have a team and you work with, people, whether you're the boss or not. That's important, right? If you're not seeking to improve and get honest feedback, why, right? What are you hiding from? Oftentimes it's you're afraid to be criticized because you think that criticism or anything that may be perceived as negative about you, you think that makes you wrong. And it doesn't. It doesn't make you wrong. There's something there that gets to be improved, right? So there's something we do in leadership coaching that I do, and training that I do, where we weekly are getting feedback and asking for feedback and asking to be held high, right? And so some of that feedback that I get, it can sting, or like initially, and then when you receive it, it's like, I get it. I can see how the feedback that you're giving me, for example, that I'm disconnected, like I'm in and then I'm gone, right? Like I can see how that feedback is valuable to me, because if I'm doing that right here in our coaching group, then I'm doing that in other areas. And I get to look at where is it that I'm all in and then I'm kind of disconnected and doing my own thing. And how is that negatively impacting those around me? How is that holding me back from being the best leader, the best mother, the best wife, the best version of myself that I can be, right? So we take the feedback, we take the coaching, we're open to it, we seek it even when it's not comfortable. And what's great about that is it's the opposite of pretending to know it all. It's the opposite of pretending that you have it all figured out, right? Or trying to figure it all out on your own, or only hearing what you want to hear. That is an amateur mindset. It's an amateur way of being. High performers, again, we're growth oriented, and that's why we welcome constructive criticism. So my question to you, and be honest, is, are you open to constructive criticism, right? Are you willing to get feedback from the people that you work with, from your clients, from your family members, of what's not working, how they are experiencing you in a way that is creating a disconnect, or just is not working in whatever result you're trying to create. It's really important. And if you're not in like-minded community with people who are growth oriented, if you don't have a coach, if you don't have a mentor, if you don't have a high level community, you're not going to get that feedback, because only leaders are confident enough and strong enough to give it and to receive it. Okay, so I want you to share in the comments with me what part of this message is landing with you. Do you see yourself as a high performer in this regard? That you're open to feedback, constructive criticism, that you actively seek it out. And yes, you're playing into your strengths, but you're also creating time and space where you actively and specifically are looking at, where do I get to improve? Not just in the doingness, in the things that you need to get done, but in the way you're showing up, your personality, your energy. Getting this kind of feedback can make the difference for you in staying where you are and going to the next level. So share with me in the comments, are you open to feedback? Do you have people in your life, in your circle, and in your community who will take a stand for you and will say, listen, this is not working, and here's what I see possible for you. Try it on, leaders. Try it on. Go out there today. I got 2 calls to action for you. Number 1, share here in the comments what's landing with you, for you, and do you see yourself as someone who takes constructive criticism and is open to it? And then second, this is the advanced call to action. Go out and ask someone today to give you their feedback and say, I want you to tell me, how do you experience me? And yes, you can tell me some of the great things, but I want to know what's in the gap. Where do you see that I have room to grow, change, or improve? Okay, take me up on the challenge. It will change your life. Start opening your mind, and what's possible will 10x for you. I'll be back tomorrow at 9:15, the same time, to share the 3rd distinction of a high performer. Thanks, guys. Bye.